So one of the things that we saw after the reports emerged that there would be 30 or 37% cuts to foreign aid to both USAID and the State Department is actually a pretty strong response from Congress, from both members of the House and from senators, from Republicans and from Democrats, people coming out really in support of foreign aid and talking about the importance of foreign aid to the United States, both as a national security matter, as a matter of economics, and as a matter of sort of national morality. Lindsey Graham said that, the proposal of a 37% cut would be dead on arrival. Other people called it dangerous, and it was also, a response from some who were not necessarily folks who you would think of as traditional foreign aid supporters. And the interesting thing about it is that we probably would not have seen that 15 years ago. Well, one of the fundamental things is that the perceptions of aid have changed over time. And part of that is because the way aid is delivered has changed. So some of the arguments that used to resonate about, aid being a blank check to dictators, those don't hold the weight that they did before, because aid is increasingly driven by data and metrics, and you can track the finances much more clearly, and it's being delivered in different ways. But you can really trace sort of the increase of bipartisan support for foreign aid to the Bush administration and to initiatives like the Millennium Challenge Corporation and PEPFAR, his initiative around HIV/AIDS, which got a lot of support, in part because the faith community got really involved and became advocates around some of these issues. Another piece of this conversation is really about geopolitics and how the world has changed. And that, I think, you can really trace back to 9/11. And September 11th sort of showed the United States and the rest of the world just how interconnected we are. And that has had an impact on aid as well, and on this connection between aid and defense and the sort of support we've seen from the defense community. There's certainly going to be a lot of conversations unfolding around the aid budget. We did see a lot of legislation passed last year, like the Electrify Africa Act and the Global Food Security Act. And so the champions of those pieces of legislation, I think, will certainly be advocating for funding for these programs that they worked really hard to get legislation passed around. And so that's one thing that'll be interesting to see, and sort of where support comes from. I think the other interesting story to watch is what's the role of the defense community in advocating for foreign aid.